guys, Sean C. Phillips here with my brand new Las Vegas Blu-ray, DVD, and toy hunting adventure. I'm here for 4 days. I'm pretty much going to go around to a bunch of different movie stops, go to looking for any out-of-print DVDs, Blu-rays, anything really interesting I can find, try and find any other interesting kind of stores, pretty much go around the strip and, you know, show some of the places that I eat, all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be kind of like a whole mishmash of all the kind of stuff that I show, you know, that I see while I'm here, all that kind of stuff. I think I've gone here, like, this is like the 3rd year in a row that I've been here. I always like to come here around the same time. So let the Las Vegas Blu-ray, DVD, and toy hunting video begin. Into Record City we go. And last year I was here, I found a bunch of different things in here. So this place usually has a ton of stuff. So let's see what we can find today. So we're going to head inside of Record City, and this is actually a really pretty big place. I found a couple different things in here last year. Like, one of the weird things I came across was like this Grandpa Monster's Silly Tales, which you don't see that online or anything. It was one of those ones that I had already had. But in here, though, things pretty much range from prices, like all kind of, there's nothing's really the same price. They have one section where some things are like, I think like $2 and stuff. I show that later in the video. But they have like cassette tapes in here, a huge selection of CDs and records. They have 2 locations of this store, Record City. This was kind of a weird thing I saw, Family Time with Santa. It was some kind of like a Santa thing with like Santa in different type of situations or something. I don't know what it was, but it looked really odd. But in here, though, there are some like out of print stuff mixed throughout. Like that one came out recently from Olive Films a couple years back on Blu-ray, but this is pretty cool to see in here. Willow on VHS. This one was out of print on Blu-ray and DVD. It's coming out, I think, in like a month or so on Blu-ray again, getting re-released. This is cool to see the Rescuers, sealed VHS copy of that. And they had a number of different sealed Disney VHSs in here. And this is one you never hear people talk about, Brady Bunch in the White House. You always hear about the first Brady Bunch films, but that one I feel like people never discuss, and that was like a TV film. And over here they had a bunch of these, I think these were Brentwood, like 10 movie collections and like 8 movie collections. And these are like, some of these are out of print and kind of obscure because I don't think Brentwood is around anymore. And they released a whole lot of these kind of collections of films, and like some of them were like public domain kind of stuff, but cool to see these ones again. But over here as well, they had some TV stuff. This one, I've talked about this in the past. Every time I see that, the guy on the front looks just like Seth Green, but it's not him. It's like this real Seth Green kind of guy. This is one you don't see too much either. The Invisible Man. That one was, I think, like in the late 90s or 2000s. And there are some obscure stuff in here, like the On the Buses collection. Like, I don't know what that one was, but that was $14. I believe that was one of the out of print things in here. And like I said, in here, this is the section where everything's $2 or 3 for $5 or 10 for $10. There's a lot of super kind of common kind of stuff you see a lot in here, but it is cool to, you know, like I said, just to see all this stuff, you know, all the big selection that they have of things. But on the bottom, though, in all these boxes, they have more DVDs out down here. And I didn't get to go through all these, but they had a lot of VHS down here and some kind of interesting different sets down here. So there definitely was some obscure kind of things in here that I was finding in these boxes. One thing down here I was trying to get out that I saw, this is one of those ones I remember I was having a real difficult time getting it out of this box, but was Problem Child 2. I always loved the poster image for this one, or the VHS cover for that. But that's one of those movies as a kid, I watched that one so many times. And they had down here like Mrs. Doubtfire on VHS, and the Jurassic, the Lost World one with a lenticular VHS, so that was really cool. I remember having that one as a kid as well. Well, I just finished looking around in there. I was in there for like quite a while. I went through everything. Didn't really find anything too different. The only weird thing in there was that strange Santa thing. There was this one guy in there, though, trying to find this specific record, though. And he's like, oh, do you have this record? And she's like, I think it's in the new wave if we have it. It's definitely not new wave. And then he's like, and the one I have is very scratchy. I need a fresh, pristine edition of it. Mine is very scratched up, and I'm trying to find it. And then the woman's like, I don't think we have it. Well, you better get it, because I really need a new one of it. Into the Golden Corral we go. And this is actually a different one than I've been to in the past. I always go to the other location, but this one's only been open for like 6 months. This one's like seems like a much better one. But yeah, this one's brand new, because the other one I go to always reminded me of the one I used to see when I was in Maryland in the White Marsh area. It was like totally like a total clone of that. But we'll see what I get in here.
Usually a lot of vegetables and stuff, because people always say, oh, do you eat meat? I actually don't eat meat at all anymore, so pretty much just get lots of different vegetables and stuff. So we'll see what we can get. Yeah, but as you see, I just got like a lot of different vegetable things in here. I think they have like some potato things in there as well. This one's funny though. All the other ones, they always had the forks and stuff where you actually had to get them. I always remember that ever since I was a kid at buffets. This one, they just put everything in here. Oh yeah, and that's where the straws and all that are actually just in this. Carroty. Calamari. And you gotta get the old-fashioned turd sandwich. That's what I always call this. I can't do it with one hand, but gotta get that turd sandwich. And I don't know why, but I always have called this turd sandwich. It's like a yogurt, anything like this, because it kind of comes out like a turdish. So I've always just said, you know, gotta get the old-fashioned turd sandwich. I even said it once in a Menchie's to them, and they looked at me so strange. And there are no spoons in here, so you gotta eat with a fork. Really full. Yeah, so you gotta have the turd sandwich with a fork. Found one. Prices averted. I found the spoon. Into the super pawn we go. And last time I was here, I like waited in line. I found like 3 things in here, some Blu-rays and stuff. And I was in line for like 25 minutes, and they never helped me. And I was just like, well, I guess you don't want me to buy these, so I just left. I was like, all right. So I bet these things are all still here again. But as you can see here, there is hardly anything in here. Last year they had a relatively decent selection of things, but there was a real small amount that they had now, and everything was really crusty. Like they had a really crusty, messed up copy here of the Sylvester Stallone film Driven, which you never hear anyone talk about that movie, but I remember seeing that in theaters and really not loving that one much. Yeah, as you could see in there though, they had a few things in there, but they like got rid of tons of stuff. Last time I was in there, they had the whole rack was all full. There was like hardly anything in there, and everything in there was super crusty. It was like, yeah, they definitely, you know, I guess since like they didn't want to sell them, it seemed like they wanted to sell the Blu-rays last time in there. So obviously they don't have much left, because I guess they just, you know, no one's bringing them in, or who knows, but not much in there. Into movies and candy we go. It's like a cool place. I think pretty much everything in here is like rental. I don't know if there's anything for sale, but like you come in here, they have like the smell of like popcorn and stuff in here. But they have like on the like in here all these like barrels of candy in here. So like they sell this candy, like a lot of old-fashioned kind of candies and lollipops and stuff. But they have like, I see when I come in, Carpool was kind of cool. I always love this movie. This is one of those ones I really hope at some point comes out to Blu-ray. But in here though, like I said, I think pretty much everything in here is rental. I don't know if anything is for sale. I just want to see too if they have anything like really rare in here on the shelf to look at. This is one you never really come across these too much. This show Son of the Beach. I don't know if I ever watched this, but I know, you know, Howard Stern was like one of the producers on this, so I remember always like hearing about that, but I don't think I ever watched an episode of that show in my life. But there definitely are some like kind of weird stuff in here, but I have to see if they have any like really rare like out of print stuff to rent, to like see what they look like, you know, that I've never seen in person. This one, I don't think I've ever seen this. An American High Revisited. This is probably like a weird one. And this is another one. This is from the director of Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3, Fast Food, and Jim Varney was in this movie. This was kind of a fun, goofy movie. He also directed that movie Funland, which I really liked. But this is definitely a cool place. I want to see the horror selection in here too and see what they have. But yeah, you can rent like the Police Academy set and a bunch of different like bad movie police. I don't know what this thing is. That's kind of interesting looking. And Screwed. Yeah, there definitely are a lot of like different kind of stuff in here to rent, so that's really pretty cool that this place in here, because like I always love to find old school movie rental places, and they're so obscure and rare to come across. I see some Trauma stuff over here, and you see like a lot of different Anchor Bay ones. Running Time with Bruce Campbell. This is probably an obscure one. I've never seen that one. Yeah, like I said, to see all on here is all these different barrels of candy, but I'll show you guys anything interesting though I come across in here though. And look at that, you can even come in here and rent me. They have Girls Gone Dead in here, so that's really pretty cool. They have that to rent. Yeah, I was in that one getting, you know, killed. This was actually a really fun movie. And so that's really cool. You can rent, you know, Girls Gone Dead in here. But they've got a lot of cool stuff. They have 555 in here to rent, and they have Terra Firma to rent. There's a lot of like really obscure stuff in here. Terminal Island. This was a great movie. The Corn Dog Man. This is a really, really good, like, kind of sad movie, but really good. That's really cool. They have that in here. Some definitely are some really obscure stuff. American Movie there to rent. The Creeper, Chakra. Yeah, there's a lot of different stuff. Creatures from the Abyss, Microwave Massacre. This is the original, like, Trauma one that they released. This one came out from Arrow Video a couple years back. Orgy of the Dead, Chairman of the Board is in there. Jack Frost, Kill Granny Kill. Yeah, and you can rent Arrow Video things. They have, like, the basement set there. Yeah, this place is really cool. This is a great selection of obscure stuff. Yeah, I saw pictures of this online and really wanted to see this. They have Making Contact here. Yeah, so this is definitely very cool. Like I said, it seems to me like everything is for rent. I don't know if there's any stuff in here at all for sale, but definitely is a cool place. Into Savers we go. And in here, Savers, if you guys didn't know, is a thrift store, so they have a lot of movies and video games and that kind of stuff in here, and like clothes, all those kind of stuff. Every time I'm in, near one of these places, I always like to check it out. It's similar to a Goodwill in here, but the prices can kind of range. They had all these ones that I remember. I think these were all like at Walmart years back. They had them like all in like one like rack. There was like hanging in the past. I haven't seen any of these ones in cases like this in a long, long time, but they're kind of interesting. There were a lot of like public domain kind of stuff that they released. They did have a bunch of different VHS tapes in here, like the film Baps, which I always really liked that movie. The Trojan War over there, which I don't think the Trojan War ever actually has gotten a DVD release yet. And that's actually a really, really good movie. I should have probably got that tape. I think that was actually a kind of an obscure tape to come across. Other than that in here, though, there was some interesting other VHSs that I saw, like The Jetsons. This is one of those movies, I don't know if anyone else is the same way, but every time I think of that movie, I always think of Wendy's, because I remember they had the Jetsons toys, had the Wendy's things, and that was like a big thing they were promoting. They had the Police Academy tape there, which was really cool to see. This tape here, some kind of like a Titanic kind of documentary kind of thing from like the Explorers series. There's a couple other interesting things here. Bushwhacked. This is one you don't see too often. Hopefully sometime this gets a Blu-ray release. That's one of those movies, I watched that so many times. I feel like I watch that movie like once a year. I don't know, I love that Daniel Stern film. This is some other Izzy and Mo thing here that looked sort of interesting. I have never seen either of those films though. Into Buybacks we go. And as you can see, there's like nobody here, and sorry the video has had so much like of me narrating over it, but everywhere's had music and stuff, so still a good way to show everything inside and like show some of the stuff. But yeah, most places out here have music on, but we'll see what we can find in here. Now in Buyback, so the one thing is they always kind of know the prices, so like everything in here, you never really find them anything in here for like super, super cheap. And like newer stuff is sometimes like, if it's like everything's used in here, so it's sometimes like a couple of dollars less than it would be, and if it recently came out, like some of the stuff they have in here is only like a week or two old that people just brought in. You do find some things in here for decent prices. It's kind of around the same price you find things on Amazon and things like that. Nothing absolutely amazing, and like anything that is really, really obscure out of print, they always know the price, and sometimes they sell them for like the top dollar prices that you would see on Amazon, like the highest asking prices that people are trying to get for them. Like they have Sharp Objects in here, which just released. But in here though, this is all the container, the sort of like all the out of print and kind of more obscure stuff. Like they had like Time Tunnel there, Volume 2, which I didn't even know that was worth $80. So I know I have that one. They have like the Maniac Anchor Bay tin there, which is really cool to see that. A bunch of different TV sets in here, and as well as like not all of them are out of print. Some of them are just like multi-disc sets and things like that. They have like the Wire Complete series there, the Outer Limits. But there was some other interesting stuff in here, like the Ladybugs Blu-ray, which I know that one is out of print and you never come across that. That's such a great movie. That's another of those films, I've watched that so many times. And they have like the Dracula, that one recently got released from Scream Factory again in a brand new edition. But a lot of tins and steel books and TV series in this case here. Into Zia Records we go. And this is actually the new location. This one like moved over here. I think it's only been here like a month or two or a couple months. I'm not sure how long, but I know this is the brand new location that they moved to. So we'll see what they've got.
So we'll take a look inside at the new location, and it's a much brighter location than the old one. It's also a much bigger space. I feel it's a really, really big location here. And there are some different stuff in here, like The Assignment, and some stuff, though, you see a whole lot, like The Hangover here. It seems like, too, it's funny how, like, The Hangover, you know, is set in Vegas, and yet it's almost like everybody just got rid of their copies of The Hangover. They had so many copies of that film here. But I don't know, I always love that movie. It's one of those films where I feel like the sequels, though, were not that great. They were okay, but they were one of those ones that you don't watch too often. Jack and Jill, though, that's one of those movies that I know is not a great film. For some reason, though, I find it so funny. There's just some, like, really goofy, ridiculous stuff in there. I don't know, I just watch that movie a lot, too. It's not a great movie by any means, but they have in here, though, a whole bunch of different, like, kind of gift items in here, and, like, sushi magnets, and, like, kind of candies and everything, and a big section of video games over there, and books, and, of course, records and CDs, and a huge selection of movies. That's the thing that's cool about this place, too, is they pretty much get in, like, all the new releases. So they had in here, like, Prehysteria, which came out from Full Moon recently, which was a Moonbeam title. It's so cool to see those ones getting released on Blu-ray. But in here, though, this is one of those places, like I said, they kind of order all the new stuff that comes out, so that's really cool to see. Here's one movie that I love, a Brittany Murphy movie called Spun. And there's actually 2 editions of this movie, the uncensored director's cut, which is here, which you don't see that one as often, because the main version of the film was cut up so much and all the bad words were, like, bleeped out and everything, so it was not a great way to watch it. But they have in here, like, the Scream Factory Creep Show. This one that was so cool, this one I had to order off I think Ronin Flix' website of Cut and Run. That's a great movie. I really like that movie. Drive-In Massacre they have. So they get in a bunch of, like, Blue Underground and Severin releases and all that kind of stuff. This is also a cool one to see in here from Artsploitation Films, the film Trauma, which was a great, like, really intense, hard to watch film. And then they have in here all the Blue Underground lenticular covers for Zombie for the brand new 3-disc edition. They had that one. They had the one of the eye with the board going into the eye, as well as the classic image of the zombie with the worms in the eye. So it was cool. They actually ordered all 3 editions of them in here.
Well, I actually did find 2 things in there. I got this weird Eddie Furlong movie called Jimmy and Judy, which I've never heard of in my life. And it was only $2. And I actually have this one, but I wanted another copy of it because this is like my secret favorite show of all time, which I talked about in the past, Insomniac with Dave Attell. This actually has the Las Vegas episode in it, but it's kind of a backup, and it was only $1. And it's like really kind of obscure to find this at all, so at least I did find something in there. And like this Eddie Furlong one, like I honestly have never seen this like ever, like never the cover or anything, so who knows what this one was, but it sounded kind of interesting. Like they said it's kind of like the movie that Natural Born Killers wanted to be, which is a really strange quote on here, but yeah, so I did find these 2 things in there. It's only $3 for both. Well, getting ready to start the next day, I will say though, when I came back last night, it was one of the most, there was like, after I finished parking the car, I was coming into this place, and there's like this most horrific, stinky, terrible smell I'd ever witnessed in my entire life. And I've witnessed terrible smells. This was one of the worst things ever. Then I went up to the room, and I had to set the air though, so it like continue to run the fan, because otherwise it's like super silent in the room and everything. And it, when the guy came up, the maintenance guy, to turn on the air to make it so it did that, he came in here wearing this like mask, like one of those like masks you wear like to keep out asbestos and stuff, like one of those breathing masks. And I said, "What's going on? What is that smell?" And he's like, "Oh, they're emptying out the grease traps." And I'm like, "Oh." And then I told him out front, at the front desk about the grease traps, and the guy's like, "Well, no one has explained anything about the smell." And I said, "Oh, okay, all right, but just fair warning that, like, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced like grease trap smells. Like, let me know in the comments below if you've ever smelled that or anything like that. But it's like a smell I can't explain. I don't think I've ever smelled anything that horrific in my whole life. But yeah, it was an experience, and it like permeated the room most of the night. But luckily enough, it's gone. But like it was like, ooh, I must have been like the room that I was in was right by those grease traps, so it was like, ooh. What an experience. But now we're gonna head onto the actual Vegas Strip and kind of walk around today. Gonna be going to one of the buffets to eat, all that kind of stuff. So now onto the Strip we go. But the casino that I'm trying to go to, the buffet one, is the Wynn buffet. I've never actually been to that one, so I don't know too much about that one. Last year I was at the Aria Casino, and that was actually a pretty decent buffet.
This one though, I honestly don't know if I've ever actually even gone inside of this one. I was looking this one up and it looked like a pretty decent one, especially because I don't eat meat or anything, so this one looks like they have a lot of options. We'll see when we get in here, but always interesting too to try different ones, because throughout the years though, I think I've tried a number of them, like the Luxor. I tried that years back. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones, like I'm trying to think of what, can't remember some of the other ones. I think Tropicana, that was one of the other ones. So a number of different ones throughout the years. I think the Harris one as well. And I unknowingly, like the Wynn, for some reason I thought that was near the Aria. The reason why I'd never been to it, it's like way near the end, like one of the last ones on the strip here. The strip goes for like, I think it's like 2 miles or something like that, but I like coming here to walk around anyway, so I don't mind. But yeah, I think it's like way towards the end, all the way that way, going towards Circus. Well, I'm finally starting to spot the Wynn. It's right over there, so we're gonna head on in. And it's called the Wynn, not the Whim. I think I keep calling it the Whim, but we're heading on in now. Well, we're walking around in here trying to head to find where it is. I found the sign here, so I'm gonna head over to the buffet now. Yeah, so we're inside here now, and I just made it too, like, they changed it over at 3:30 to the dinner time, so I have like 40 minutes until they change it over, so luckily enough I made it before that all changes over and everything. But I've like I said, never been to this one, so don't know all the stuff they have. They have a lot of breakfast kind of stuff now, because I think it's like the brunch buffet. Yeah, but so we'll see, you know, what I end up getting here. Kind of a weird mixture of things, like little pancakes, a piece of pizza, some potatoes, like a weird, strange mixture. Waffly. Oatmeal-y. Yeah, since I've been in here, they changed out like in the last few minutes to like the dinner. So look at the lineup. Everyone's now trying to get the dinner stuff. So everyone's getting the dinner for like the lunch price, but it's a huge line for like the prime rib and everything that was taken out now. Yeah, well, I got in there, like I was saying, I kind of got in there like in between everything, so it was like right before the lunch was finishing and stuff, but I didn't actually take anything that was on the dinner menu item, because I only paid for the lunch, but a lot of people were getting in the same time I did and like waiting and going crazy for the prime ribs and everything, but nope, I didn't do that. I just had all the stuff that was considered the, you know, the brunch lunch stuff, so I did not do that trick. I'm inside of the Circus where they have the Adventure Dome, and they have like the old classic Simpsons game here. This is one, you know, they've been doing all those things like at Walmart, like those stand-up arcade console things, like of consoles of like Pac-Man and some of the other ones. It'd be so cool if they had this as one of them. Because this was like one of my favorite games as a kid, going to the arcade playing this. Like I played this thing so many times. But it's real cool inside of here now at night, because it's real dark and everything. It's so funny in here. It's like pitch dark, absolutely, like there's like no lights on or anything like that. I don't know if this is how it always is at night or not. I've never been in here at night when it was open, but it's like got this real cool weirdness since it's like so dark in here. But I think they filmed that movie Baby Geniuses in here, unless I always mixed that up and that was the Mall of America, but for some reason I think it was.
The moon went high and stars would shine and rain was driving, thunder and lightning wrecked my whole world when you came.
And I finally found where those gondola boats are. Like every time I try to find this area, and it's like upstairs in the one casino, but I always like go the wrong area and cannot find it. It's always a real cool thing in here. But I hadn't been in here in years, because I always like forget how you get to it. And there's somebody coming by on the boat. Like I said, I always like totally forget where this is, and so I never can find it. So finally, after many years of coming here in a row, I figured out exactly where you go to find this spot. You can see everyone's in there in the gondola, you know, outfits and everything. It's a real cool thing in here. But I know like this video is kind of like a lot of randomness. It's kind of just like all the kind of stuff that I come across and see while I walk around and stuff in the casinos and all that kind of stuff, and a lot of walking. So far in the last, like, you know, since I've been doing this, I think I walk like 12 miles or something so far, like back and forth between all the casinos and everything. It's like crazy. And one thing I do here pretty much every night when I'm done going out for the evening is I love to walk through, because in the actual casinos you can walk through all of them. So I start here at the Excalibur, and all the casinos have bridges that are connected inside, so you don't have to go outside or anything. You can kind of walk between the Excalibur, then into the Luxor, and then into the Mandalay Bay Casino. And you can walk through here and you see all kinds of interesting stuff. Like, these are kind of funny, these massage chair things that like massage you with water. Like, I remember seeing those ones years back, like, I don't know, 15 years ago, maybe even more, in the malls. And like, this casino is like the first place I've seen those in years. So really funny. But like I said, you go through these tunnels and they go and connect through to things. So like here we're heading into the Luxor Casino, which is always kind of known for having Carrot Top being one of the main performers that has been in here for years. Chris Angel was always here and only recently left. He just like moved to the Planet Hollywood Casino. I think the show is like just opening up very soon. But in here though, they were actually covering over and getting rid of some of the Chris Angel stuff. Like I said, I always love to just walk through here every night, and between all these ones, it's like a little over a mile or so up and back, or maybe a little more, maybe like close to 2 miles when you walk between all these ones. But now we're heading though into the Luxor Casino, into the casino floor. And it's, like I said, this is a cool way just to get a little more exercise and just kind of walk through here. And I just love doing this. And then I go through here and then up these escalators, you go up to where the Carrot Top, where he performs, as well as the Blue Man Group. And it's always a cool look to this casino, the way it looks and like the layout to everything. And as you see here though, we're going up to where it's like has a really cool like Egyptian look. And like over here though is, I believe, where it's Carrot Top, and then here has the Titanic exhibit as well as the body exhibit, the bodies exhibit, which is always creeps me out, that thing. It always reminds me of that film Anatomy, which is kind of a similar kind of thing with these like preserving these bodies the way they do it. But over there to the left is the Blue Man Group Casino, which I think used to be somebody else in that casino. But then all these casinos as well, they have like a bunch of these different food courts, and some of these things are open all night. Some of them close at like midnight and things like that. But for the majority of them, there's always usually 1 or 2 things that stay open 24 hours, and some of them close like 2. All kind of depends. Usually on the weekend, things are open a lot later. But then this connects through to the Mandalay Bay, and this has a whole kind of mall inside of here. So it has a whole bunch of different kind of stores in here, and you always see a whole bunch of these kind of like frozen, slushy, alcoholic drinks and stuff. You see so many of these, as well as pretzels. Like pretzels are another thing you see tons of. I think, because people have to have like bread and stuff after all the drinking and everything that they do in, the casinos and everything. But in here though, they have a bunch of different stores, and they have a bunch of stuff too that you don't see in other places, like Ron John Surf Shop. I always think of that in Florida. That's kind of where it was known, was in Cocoa Beach, Florida, but they have a location out here of that. They also have like the Sub-Zero bar that you go in here, where it's like you have to wear these jackets because it's absolutely freezing inside. It's like a it's been on a lot of those Travel Channel type shows. But we continue through. This is in the Mandalay Bay Casino, and in here too there's also like an aquarium in here, a bunch of different stuff. I actually really like this casino a lot. They have like signs above too, which kind of point to you where all the areas are. I thought this would be kind of a cool thing to show, just one of the things that I do every night as I walk through here. And then you always kind of know you're hitting the end of this, because you come to the Shark Reef Casino, which is actually a really, really cool aquarium, Shark Reef Aquarium. And down here though, they have a food court, and I never see any of these other things open because of how late I am, but there's this one Subway down here which is always open. This lone Subway, which is like, I never see anybody at it, but it's always here. And back here as well, they have the big convention center, so there's always like some kind of stuff going on in there. But just a really cool walk. I always love doing this every
Into
night, though.
Buybacks we go. The second location. This is the next day now.
But now we're going to head into the second location of Buybacks. This is the much bigger location. There actually was a third Buybacks location in Las Vegas, but that one closed down, I think 2 years back or so. I don't know if I ever showed that location years back, but they have some interesting things in here. Like I said though, they always kind of know the prices of stuff, so you really rarely find anything like amazing for like a really good price. So they always like kind of sell, like I said, the prices you see on eBay and Amazon and everything. But this store though, I don't know what's going on. Like, there's so many empty shelves in here. Like last year, all this stuff was filled up. You see all these racks here are totally emptied. So I don't know if this location is going to move or what. It still is a bigger location than the first one that I went to, but definitely is way, way smaller than last year. There still are some interesting things in here. And like this is the one thing, anytime I see like Food Network stuff, is always cool to come across these, because these Food Network releases were all like exclusive to Target, and like I think Target released them for like 2 years, and a bunch of different stuff like Restaurant Impossible and a bunch of, I think, like 4 seasons of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. But these days you never see any like Food Network things or cooking shows. Very rarely do you ever see them release on DVD or Blu-ray or anything. So always cool to see them every so often. In the past, the stuff that was released in the past in these stores. This one here, this is not the one, but there's a movie called The Colony, which is stars John Ritter, which is a TV film, which I love that movie. I hope someday that one comes to Blu-ray or DVD or anything. That's never been released on anything, and it's such a great, like, super underrated movie. Kind of similar to like the Stepford Wives a little bit. And here's the out-of-print cabinet. There was a couple interesting things in here. This one here, Ed and His Dead Mother, though, I love that movie. That one, I believe there's a new release of that. Yeah, but out of there in buybacks, and they definitely, like, they shrunk down the sections, like I was saying. Like, there's hardly as much stuff, because before there was all stuff on the walls and like a whole huge area of like dollar DVDs and all that kind of stuff. There was not that much in there, though. They really shrunk it down. Like, it's crazy, like, because last time the whole place was totally full. So different this time, 1 year later, like, seeing how much it's changed.
Into Rogue Toys
So we're going to head on into Rogue Toys, and in Vegas they have 3 locations of this one. One of them is right next to the Pawn Stars shop. It's like right down the street from that, but they have all kinds of like classic G.I. Joe toys and so many of these classic ones, like play sets and everything in the original boxes. Some loose figures here, like a bunch of Star Wars toys, just some really, really cool stuff. They had a Bob and Doug McKenzie figure here. They had both of those ones. These are some of the newer ones. They have like new toys, retro toys, all that kind of stuff. These are really cool. These Todd McFarlane figures, these were like for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. I had tons of these ones. I don't know if I have them anymore, but I had like a bunch of those, a huge amount of those. And then these are cool. These is like the Rest in Peace toys here. These are all the toys that are like missing arms and legs, and things are broken off of them and all that kind of stuff. So like things are cracked or messed up on them. I don't know, it's just kind of cool to see all these ones together in like a box like that. And in here though, they had like a bunch of different kind of miscellaneous type items here. Some Dick Tracy toys, American Gladiators there. He has a Dick Tracy one here. I recently got, like a couple of years back, the Blank figure. That was one I always wanted as a kid, so really cool to come across that. A bunch of the classic Ninja Turtles toys. These are other ones as a kid. I had like a gigantic box of all these ones. So it's just cool to see all this kind of stuff in here, and just a great store for a bunch of retro toys, as like I said, as well as new stuff. These are really cool. The Crash Test Dummies toys, and they actually have the play set. This is one I play with that play set so many times as a kid, and you'd crash the cars into it and things would break off of them, and the Crash Test Dummies heads would pop off and all kinds of crazy stuff. I had not seen that play set though in years. They have the Spawn play set there. I don't know what that one was from. This Beavis and Butthead toy, and this was like a Terminator toy, which was like for T2, which was like Future War. I don't know if this was for like a video game or like that arcade game. And these Chipmunks figures, I had a lot of these ones as well. They had a cool like play set as well of like the Chipmunks van or something that would open up. I remember always playing with that as a kid. And in here they have a whole case of all kind of Star Wars. They have some in the boxes and the cases, and some of them loose, like the Jabba the Hutt and all kind of stuff. Just some really, really cool stuff in here though.
Into the toy shack we go.
And the Toy Shack has been seen in a number of episodes of the show Pawn Stars, and this is found in downtown Las Vegas and Fremont Street. But a really, really cool retro toy store as well. But they have in here some new toys as well, all kinds of different stuff. Some really cool sealed Star Wars figures in here. Some really, really expensive ones in here. Really cool too. They have their original stickers from the stores that they were bought in. A bunch of different Funko Pops in here, and a bunch of cases of like Ninja Turtles as well. I remember that, having that playset there of the vehicle as well as a kid. And they had in here some really cool, like can't remember what those ones were. I think like Space something there, and some Atari video games. And they had some blind bag toys, as well as some Police Academy toys. That's another one. I love this playset. I got this one like maybe 10 years back. I found this one again. I had that as a little kid. I love that playset, the Police Academy house. It looked very much like the Ghostbusters house. Some American Gladiators figures still in the case. And then they have like Stargate there. as well as a bunch of like Hot Wheels and Star Trek toys and Star Wars toys, and these really cool Goonies mugs. I don't know if those were new or retro mugs. I can't remember for sure if they're newer or when they're from. These ones are cool. Food fighters. I love these ones as a kid as well. These are like these food toys that like dressed as cops and stuff. They had some Menudo trading cards here, as well as some Dick Tracy trading cards. And here they all have like the old classic gum in them that is like so old now. But just some really, really cool stuff. Like I said, a lot of different blind bag toys. Just a really, really great retro toy store. Definitely to check out if you guys are into retro toys. Well, that's all for my Blu-ray, DVD, and toy hunting adventure. Got to go to some really cool stuff. Only found that weird Eddie Furlong movie and then Insomniac, but definitely was a cool time out here. A lot of stuff I didn't show, but I hope you guys enjoy my Las Vegas Blu-ray hunting video. Like I was saying, if you guys enjoy my videos, definitely give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.